you did, you little jerk.
Alright, we're going to start our 13 Reasons Why review. We're going to go through the cons, pros, what we all liked about it, what we didn't like about it, you know, the whole gamut. And just so you know, spoilers. So if you haven't seen the show and you want to watch it, turn off the episode now, and we'll wait here while you...
go watch PewDiePie or something.
Yeah. We'll wait here while you go watch it. Okay, you're done. So let's start off with the cons. There was a few things. Certain characters I felt were... Some of their plot points were either unnecessary, and there was definitely some plot holes. Andy, why don't you start off with some of the characters that you didn't care for?
Well, let's see.
It's a character list here. It's holding up.
Yeah, I didn't like this fool. I didn't like that fool. That guy was a jerk. No. What is it? I guess the character of Tony. I guess I didn't have that much of a problem with him. But it was, in a later episode, it does go into like a reveal of him being gay, but it does nothing to advance the plot.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything to advance the plot, or it doesn't add to the story. And then like there's this thing where he has like this unnecessary argument with his boyfriend because he doesn't call his boyfriend in front of people, but then that like little diversion doesn't really add to the story, and it's completely unnecessary. And
yeah, that was yeah.
Take it from there.
Yeah, Tony, my number one issue. Tony, overall, a good character. He's kind of the one that is helping out with Hannah's wishes and kind of that guiding force and helping people listen to the tapes and kind of come to grips with what's going on.
He's the Jiminy Cricket.
But yeah,
he was the magical minority.
The point of him being gay is just kind of a moot point. It doesn't add or take away add anything to the character or take anything away.
Exactly.
And the whole side story of like him and his quote unquote boyfriend does not do anything. There's no reason for it to have happened, which is a big problem for it. It's one of my pet peeves, if you will, of characters or story points. Just like, why, if you cut that out, you wouldn't notice it being gone.
Not even a little bit.
Why do you suppose they made him gay?
I think that's just the way the world is, and it's like, hey, we need another gay character.
Cause diversity.
Yeah. Who knows though? Maybe if
it's a
they
little
do
thing called diversity.
If they do have a second season, maybe they'll elaborate on that. Who knows?
Maybe.
But I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird.
We're all okay.
We're kind of going all over the place.
To let you guys know, we did not read the book series, and we're also going off the knowledge. We're not really sure if there's going to be a second season. If there is a second season, it might change a few plot points, I think, or like kind of the question mark endings on some of the characters. So that's what we're. But we're just going based off of there's only this one season, and we haven't read the book, so we don't know if there's any extra depth to the characters that we might be missing, or if the show added anything to certain characters that weren't there to begin with.
Right.
I guess for me, I don't usually watch TV shows and whatnot. Sometimes I do. I really loved Breaking Bad. I binge watched that.
Oh yeah.
So I have an addictive personality. If I like a show, I'll binge watch it if I can. This show, I heard about it. So Robert had it on last time we were here. So I checked it out, and admittedly I did get hooked. But there were some characters in the beginning that pissed me off. However, it's funny because as the season went on, I felt like they did a good job. With character development. So. At first, though, Jessica, that girl pissed me off. I don't know, she's just annoying to me. But maybe she had to. Maybe they're just like playing their roles. But really annoying, you know, and I felt like Hannah I liked overall, for sure she did a good job, and I did not know she was Australian, so it kind of tripped me out when I saw her interviews with that accent, but she did a good job, but poor girl, she's been through so much, and pretty unrealistic, you know, to go through that much, but she kind of put herself in those situations a lot of times, not the rape scene, but, you know, a lot of other times. Why would she keep associating herself with, you know, the same group of people, right?
Yeah, because she was constantly trusting people who have demonstrated that they're untrustworthy. That was my problem with Hannah. I mean, I didn't necessarily hate her character. I mean, she was the main character.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's like, you know, it's just... I understand, like, you know, the show kind of made it seem like it was like a small town, so, like, everyone knew, if not personally, then they knew of each other. And so, like, but, you know, I understand, like, you know, in high school, it's like a really small pool of people that you can associate yourself with. But, you know, it was just constantly, like, these people at her school would, you know, constantly be, demonstrating that they're not trustworthy or they're not her friends.
Right.
But and yet she's still like there's a couple party scenes that come to mind where, you know, she is either not, she's indirectly invited, and she's like wondering, oh, should I go? Should I not go? And then she still ends up going, and then hijinks ensue, and it's again revealed that these people are not trustworthy, or you should not consider these people as your friends.
Yeah. And it's that whole thing. Why do a lot of those girls fall for douchebags? Like, why even fall for that douchebag Justin? You know.
Oh yeah, Justin was a douche.
But and then what got ridiculous? It was that other dude? I forgot the character's name. It's not here. No, the guy that looked like Pharrell.
Oh yeah, Marcus.
Marcus, yeah.
I said poor man's Usher.
Yeah. Yeah, poor man's Usher, but he kind of looked like Pharrell. The supposed valedictorian fell for him, and then right after that scene, I thought it was ridiculous when Zach, I guess, the Asian dude, the Filipino guy, comes right back to the diner, and she still lets him sit there. It's like, come on, like, haven't you learned anything? Like, don't associate yourself with that whole group. And then of course that doesn't work out either. So.
Yeah, because if it wasn't like, okay, because like the douchebag Justin, like he was friends with like those two guys that James just mentioned, and so, you know, if I, why would, because she knows like this guy is a douche, so then why would she be so open to be, you know, trusting his friends? Like I'm not saying you should paint with a broad brush, but you should still,
in that case,
yeah, keep, you know, arm's length would be the rule.
At the very
there.
best.
Yeah, you know, keep up arm's length. You know, and if they just demonstrate that they're trustworthy, then yeah, you could slowly let them in, you know, into your circle.
And of course, this is based on the book. Sorry, I'll just say this, and you know, this is all part of the plot. But you know, we're just thinking like, in real life, she could have just easily made better friends. You know, and she's attractive, she's pretty, she's smart, whatever. So simple as that. In real life, just find new friends, you know.
The other part that like kind of bugged me was how cartoonish of a villain that Bryce is. Where it's kind of that,
like the Biff, right?
Yeah, it's that the Biff. He's the cartoonish, like, you know, the kind of the perfect scenario, like, bad guy.
Yeah, it felt a little unrealistic. It's like, oh yeah, he's the rich jock that kind of gets away with everything, and I don't know if it's
has to hook up with drugs and all that stuff.
Which I thought is kind of a little ridiculous because it kind of paints like that type of like, oh, he's has money and like he comes from like a wealthy family or whatever. It kind of you had all the nuances for these other characters, but Bryce was kind of just like this one person that set off on an island that had no character development whatsoever.
Right. And
he was just this cartoon villain.
Yeah. Why was he such a douche? Was he like, you know, distant father, you know,
right,
lackadaisical mother? We don't know.
Not that his actions were good in a sense, but having more depth to his character would have, I think, helped me a little bit. It's like, oh, okay, that's why he's an asshole.
I think I would have enjoyed that also because like even like the smallest of side characters had more depth and backstory
right.
than this Bryce guy did, and so.
So that was the part that bugged me is because all these characters, Clay and Hannah obviously get the most
right.
like on screen time and most development.
Mm-hmm.
Yet even like all these people who are the reasons why on these tapes, they even what was the first tape? What was that kid's name?
The Clay?
No, Justin.
Justin.
Thank you. Justin, like you start off like hating him, and then you realize like they start to develop his character more and more. It's like, oh, okay, he's actually not a bad kid.
Yeah,
like it's just
mom.
He just has a really crappy home life.
Yeah.
Who I've had many friends in like my time that have that very same childhood. It's just like they're not bad kids. It's just they kind of
their circumstances.
The circumstances suck, and they kind of become the bad kid.
Right.
So like I said, all these characters got this like kind of more development as the show went on, but not Bryce, which kind of bugged me a little bit.
But in a way, though, it kind of shows in a way that not all bad kids have that dramatic upbringing. Maybe he is a douchebag by nature.
But that very well could be. I just wish they would have explained a little bit more.
And I think there are a lot of assumptions made because that scene where Clay confronts him, it's like, oh, where are your parents? Oh, they're off somewhere. So you kind of say, oh, okay, so they're rich. So his parents probably went off some sort of like getaway, without him.
Right.
Whatever. So so we could assume that he's some sort of latchkey kid, in a sense. But in a very very rich latchkey kid where he had nannies or whatever. So they don't. So he might suffer from that lack of parental affection or
right.
emotion.
Discipline and all that too.
So
that's a possibility too. And that was the other thing. It's like sometimes they spell things out, and then other times they just kind of left.
Yeah, they make like
wide
tiny
open.
little implications, and then you're supposed to take that. You're supposed to take that tiny little implication and like, run with it to like wherever however you're gonna take it, instead of making it maybe a little bit more clear of the intention.
Yeah. My third problem was a lot of the open plot lines that they had been kind of the subplots that they'd been developing the entire time. Yet, if there's not going to be another season, it's like, well, what happened? First of all, is like once the tapes kind of got out, who else listened to them? What adults like listen to these tapes?
Right.
They kind of got out, but no one said anything. They didn't have another episode talking about the after effects. What happened with the lawsuit? That was a whole big thing that was going on behind the scenes. Yet we never see a conclusion. The third big one is the photographer kid. He ends up having this Unabomber style gun case with explosives and guns
and the
and
false bottom in his trunk.
Yeah.
There's guns and pipe bombs
and all of a sudden nothing develops out of that either.
Right. Or they kind of just leave it hanging.
Yeah.
That's why I think there will be a second season.
There almost has to be at that point. And then just the way that the last episode ends, and they're just driving off in a car somewhere, and it's like, well, what was after all that? They just kind of left it. It was kind of a lackadaisical, anticlimactic type of an end.
Right. Because the main kid Clay, he reaches out to that other girl. And it's like, hey, let's go hang out. It's like, when? Like right now. And then they go off with the magical minority Tony and go for a drive and stuff.
Here's the other thing that bugged me too. One other character was the Asian girl who had the two gay dads,
right.
And there's clearly
Courtney.
Yes, thank you. And I can't say that I grew up in a family with like 2 gay dads. Like what, problems have potentially come with that type of upbringing. But then you have a school that seems very inclusive and like there's a lot of openly there's 2 openly gay characters that they're best friends with. Yet she has that. It makes you wonder. Okay, is the rest of the school kind of like very anti-gay, or is it just that like she has this? But see, like so we have these clearly openly gay characters that everyone knows and everyone is friends with. Yet she had part of the reason that she was on the tapes is because she hid her sexuality. Like she didn't want that out, and she was willing to do whatever it takes to keep that hidden. Seemed a little.
Throw Hannah under the bus.
Yeah, that seemed a little unrealistic to me because you have. Then what about the Tony or what's his face the journalist kid?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Where is he? Montgomery?
No, not Montgomery.
Yeah, he was another cartoon asshole.
Oh, God.
Ryan.
Ryan. Yeah, that was clearly openly gay. Everyone would like kind of knew them.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe no one was really too close of friends with Ryan because he kind of seemed like just a jerk.
Yeah.
But that was the other thing. Another character that was just kind of unnecessary was Montgomery. Why was he?
Yeah,
why was he part of it?
He was like a side chick,
Yeah, he was a sidekick, but again, he was like.
He wasn't part. But the thing is, the ones that they focused on were these kids that were part of the tapes. Montgomery was never on any of those tapes. Why was he there? He didn't need to be a character.
Okay, was he there?
No, he was not. He was not.
Well, I mean, I know he wasn't on the. I know
tapes.
he wasn't on the tape, but was he around when they were discussing like tape business?
No.
Oh, okay.
He had nothing to do with any. Like he was almost like he never bugged Hannah. He never did anything to Hannah.
I guess they needed him for that fight scene with
with Alex.
His name with Alex. Yeah.
If that's the only reason he exists, and that's where like maybe the book like Montgomery actually is like a stronger character, but in the show it's like he just seems like this unnecessary character.
The unnecessary.
Yeah, and that fight, I didn't understand. Like, why were they getting into it?
Well, I guess it showed Alex's like the tension that he felt like because you see like his growing guilt as the show goes on.
Exactly, I was gonna.
And I think it was just kind of like
just like it was like a release valve.
We're gonna talk about that more on like the pro section,